A dazzling facility located here in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The season's still just getting started. We're off in week 3. And this will be a touchback, so we're going to need... to see the first action of this game. So their offense out now to get this game started. It's 1st and 10.
Ready? Warrior 70.
Straight to the air they go. It's into the hands of Mooney. And he'll push this upfield and earn them a new set of downs.
This really isn't a route designed for a lot of yards, Kate. You're just trying to get a small handful and move on to the next down. Stay in rhythm. But anytime you can work some magic after the catch and stretch it out, those are welcome bonus yards.
1st and 10 from the 41. They'll run it here with Bijan Robinson. He's descended upon quickly and dropped after looks like a yard gain. Dadrian Taylor-Demerson getting there for the tackle. Manages just a yard on 1st down. Now it's going to be 2nd and 9.
Let's go now. Ready?
Throwing now from the gun. That's brought in by Mooney. Doesn't get much beyond the line, a yard at most. Buda Baker bringing that one to an end.
Well, that's a modest little drag route, but if you ever just need a safe, short gain on the throw, that's a go-to route to target.
It's 3rd and 8. Need to get a chunk here.
Here we go, set. Hurt. Right there, hurt. Check.
Motioning the tight end now. Rolling left, buying some time. And he's short of the first after a mild gain. A dose of the hurry-up offense here. Here's the snap on 4th. Has him on the quick hitter. And he made a bid for midfield there, but stopped on his own side at the 49. And they drag him down just in time. He's shy of that marker. We've got a turnover on downs. On the ground, this is Trey Benson. And he's brought down after a nice gain and a 1st down.
He easily had the yardage for a first, but he was hungry for a lot more. I think that tackle prevented something that was going to be a lot bigger than just a 1st down pickup.
1st down, and they go right back to it. And he's got a decent gain before being brought down. Give him 4 that time, so 6 to go on 2nd down.
That is just a good, solid run right there. I know, that's pretty basic commentary, but sometimes football can be basic. It keeps you on schedule, that kind of yards per carry, and you move the sticks.
This throw finds Marvin Harrison Jr. And he takes this inside the red zone to the 15 before going out. Give him 13 on that play. And that's a Cardinals 1st down.
Omaha. Hey. Who you got?
Working inside the red zone. isn't holding up. They're able to drop it. And the big play drives them backwards. Second down coming up.
And look at that. All that effort and success from the previous play, it is gone. Credit to this defense who snapped and clear. That's part of this game. Got to snap and clear. Give up a big play, come back and make a big one for yourself. And they do get home that sack.
Into the hands of Michael Wilson. And they get this down to the 10-yard line before going down.
Gosh, I really like this receiver on that drag route in particular. Why? Because he's a guy that creates after the catch. They don't close quickly. He can take it to the house.
Murray to throw here on third. The throw is caught. And that play is brought to a halt, they're going to say, at the 5-yard line. On fourth down, here's Murray. Chased out to his right. And this is caught. Touchdown, Arizona! The Cardinals have a great first drive and get the game's first points. He finds one of his great receivers, Brock, and they are off to a great start to begin this ball game.
Yeah, it's such a positive offensively when you can go find not just a field goal, but a touchdown on that opening drive. And defensively, this starts to shake the foundation of your preparation and makes you wonder what's in store.
That one right down the middle. And the Cardinals will jump out to a 7-0 lead. The Cardinals kicking team out, and they'll put a charge into this one. And he opts not to bring this one out, so they're going to enjoy some good starting field position from the 30. They'll get this drive started. First and 10. Drive begins with a run. It's Robinson. And he's into the front for a gain of about 2.
You know, not a ton of yards, but still showing that commitment to the ground game. The type of run that keeps the defense from loading up in coverage and focusing entirely on that passing game.
8 yards to go. Let's see how they approach this second down.
65 yards. 70 Rangers. 70 Rangers.
From the 32. That winds up incomplete and brings an end to our opening quarter. So before they can set up for another play, we've hit the end of the first quarter. 7-0 is our score. We'll make our return to Mercedes-Benz Stadium after this. Back for our second quarter. It's Falcons football. They have third down and 8.
70 Lions. 19 Lions. Buffalo 18.
He's going to throw this one. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop it. Moving quickly, trying to get set again.
60 Eagles. 60 Panther 11. Panther 11.
They're going for this. That's cut beyond the marker. They'll keep this drive moving after a big 18-yard pickup on fourth down.
I love those moments of truth. We get to see exactly how they handle it when all the pressure of the drive's right on them. Turns out, handled it pretty darn well, and now they'll keep pushing on.
Come on. Set. Panther 60. Panther 60. Hut, hut.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. He had it for a moment, but a great defensive play to jar it loose. Incomplete.
There's the importance of staying in phase as a defender. He was all over him in coverage, and that really did help force the incompletion.
On second down, Robinson. And he gets this beyond the midfield stripe and onto the Cardinals side of the field. A solid 8-yard gain there, and now they're going to have third and 2.
Kate, I know you can see that smile on my face as we stand next to each other. Sure, I love that run. But I'm thinking about some great running backs. In fact, Corey Dillon. who created a lot of negative grades on my play sheet because I didn't want to carry out no fake. I wanted to watch the damage he could do like we just saw.
Loss of 2 yards. It's 4th down.
19 Tiger, 19 Tiger. Hey, smash.
Motioning one of the tight ends.
18 Rattler, 18 Rattler. 79 Bronco. Check go.
Going for it on 4th. And he'll pick up enough to move the chains.
So close to getting off the field. But the 4th down conversion keeps that defense out there. That was their shot to end this possession, to sit on the bench, to get their breath. But now they're going to have to buckle down and force another 4th down.
Okay, ready.
New slated downs to approach here from the 40.
Here we go.
They'll send their tight end right. 1st and 10, around to Robinson. And he runs into a wall there. Multiple defenders ready to stop him cold at the line. No gain there that time, and it's 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10. At the Cardinals' 40-yard line.
Trap 60. Let's go. Ready, ready.
Back to throw now. No luck on the connection. It's incomplete.
They would sure love to connect on some of these intermediate throws, those chunk throws. Getting a completion like that, well, not only does it spark your offense, but it just sets you up for even more aggressive play calling.
Last pass unsuccessful, and they have 3rd down here.
Ready, ready. Big Lion. 7 Pirates, 7 Pirates. 60 Maverick, 60 Maverick. 18 Pioneer. Hup.
Back to throw. And as that one falls incomplete, all eyes shifting to the flag that was thrown. If it's defensive, we've got a 1st down here.
Ready.
They got the interference call on 3rd down, and that keeps this drive going with a new set of downs.
Cup 19, Cup 19.
1st down from the red zone. Short pass brought in. And he's going to be marked down 5 yards short of that 1st.
That is the epitome of staying on schedule. That kind of completion right there on 1st down. Well, it opens up the entirety of the playbook for 2nd down. With 3rd and short in your back pocket, you can get even more aggressive and take that shot.
After a good pickup, they've got 2nd and 4.
Let's go now. Hut, hut.
And this time they're going to get there, and they drop him. And that pushes them back. 3rd down coming up.
Bend. Even good defenses, great defenses in this league, Kate, they're going to bend at times, but you never want to break. And when you get a sack in the red zone, well, that goes a long ways to helping your efforts.
It's the 2-minute warning now from Atlanta. The Falcons in possession. The Cardinals going with a dime package here. 3rd down coming up.
Here we go. Sack. Warriors 70. Ready.
He's dropping back to throw. Throwing the out route complete. And he's tackled with the 1st down yardage.
You're not going to last long in the National Football League if you don't convert a good chunk of your 3rd downs. Nice find there to continue the series.
Shotgun snap, a give to Robinson. And he's in. It's an Atlanta touchdown. The Falcons earn the chance to tie it before halftime. It's a Bijan Robinson touchdown. And he does not tie this game. His extra points off. They remain down by 1. is trimmed back down to a single point, Brock, as they send this off and away. And he opts not to bring this one out, so they're going to enjoy some good starting field position from the 30. Offense ready to begin this drive, 1st and 10. Now Murray on the play fake. That's incomplete left side.
You know, that was a play, Kate, right there where you need to buy your receivers just enough time to get open along their routes. And your quarterback enough time to find and hit him with the throw. Time? Well, that's not what he had. O-line couldn't hold up, and it forces the incompletion.
Couldn't connect on 1st. It's 2nd down. Out of the gun, here's Murray. Defender arrives right as the ball does, and the hit knocks it free. Incomplete. Working across the middle, Brock, it is tough for anybody to make plays through all that mess, even when you're the biggest and baddest pass catcher on the roster.
But as a tight end, you're going to be disappointed because that's what you're paid to do. It's one thing for those undersized receivers you talk about. It's another one for these big tight ends. You are paid to make that catch through contact, and he couldn't do it.
They touch him down, but a great pickup, and it's good for a 1st. Offense in the hurry up here. Back to the air, Murray. Throw came out right as the defense got to him. That's an incomplete pass. No luck finding his receiver that time. And we'll see what they do here on 2nd down.
That is a DB's best friend, pressure. That pressure earned that incompletion. They came in before he could find a target and hit him to alter that last-second attempt to get rid of it.
On 2nd and 10, it's Murray. Connects on the crosser. Still has some space inside the 35. And they catch up to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a 1st down.
Just excellent effort on that catch. And a lightning-quick transition from bringing that football in to getting vertical. He was not content for a second to end that play where he caught it. Any catch he makes, his intent is to put some serious yards on top of it.
He just throws this one away.
He did exactly what he was supposed to do on that play. Felt the pressure and escapes the pocket. After that, it's on somebody downfield to get open and give him a target. No one did, and he simply has to get rid of it.
Murray thrown again on 2nd and 10. Too much lead on that throw. That falls incomplete ahead of his target.
I'll tell you this, Kate. They doubled him knowing that was where the pass was likely headed. That's doing your homework. A bit surprising QB still threw it in that direction with how well the defense had that one covered.
So after that prior incompletion, we've got 3rd down. Blitz coming here, Brock. It's Murray. Complete beyond the marker. And he's brought down. They're going to mark him at the 14. Arizona goes ahead and calls its 2nd timeout. And they still have one in their pocket for what's left of this half. And they've got themselves another 1st and 10. From the red zone now. And he's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. The Cardinals will add to their lead at the end of the half. So this solid 1st half continues for them. They're into the end zone to extend their advantage.
And I think if you're a head coach here, Kate, you've got to be very happy with the effort so far. They've come out strong. They've been the ones dictating the tempo, and as a result, they add to the scoreboard.
The Cardinals kicking team out, and they'll put a charge into this one. And he opts not to bring this one out, so they're going to enjoy some good starting field position from the 30. They've got first down here, but just 18 seconds to work with.
Hey, 60 Bobcat, 60 Bobcat. Say, hey. 70 Ranger, 70 Ranger. Tracking 60. Set go.
They're going to throw here to begin the drive. And this is intercepted. And the Cardinals will have a shot at least a field goal here. Maybe the end zone after that return. Oh, man, I'm having to hold my partner back after this one. Captain Fundamental not happy that he didn't take the time to stop and get set before delivering that football. Gotta think that in part led to the turnover.
Yeah, Captain Fundamental because I couldn't run. Kind of like Tom Brady, right? But he's the essence of it. He's the GOAT. Why? Because he sets his feet.
Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop him. Just before halftime, we get a timeout taken. Only time left for one more snap, Brock, so they're going to run out their field goal unit. Just before halftime, we get a timeout taken. With only 3 seconds remaining, they're going to bring out that field goal unit. He's got to drive this one 53 yards down the middle. And this kick is good. He needed to get all of it there, and he did. So we finished 2 quarters. A couple more to come after this short break. More of the NFL on EA Sports after this. Back from the break, I'm Kate Scott, joined by Brock Heward, and we are just moments away from the beginning of our second half.
Bradley Pinion set to kick off.
Out to kick it away, here's Pinion. And we'll have to wait at least a few moments longer for an exciting start to this second half. We've got a touchback. First and 10 now from the 30. And off to Benson to start the drive. And that's good yardage with a new set of downs.
You spring a big gain like that, Kate, on the interior, 9 times out of 10, that O-line decisively won their matchup with the big fellas up front. They got those pads down. They created leverage, and they opened up that running lane.
First and 10 from the 41. Benson once more. And he won't salvage that. It's a loss on the play.
This is one of those plays that I wish we had the huddle mic'd up, Kate, because I can assure you that offensive line in their own way is telling that running back, sorry, we did not give you any chance.
Everyone's prepped. It's second down now. From the gun, it's Murray. That one's caught along the left sideline. And they finally bring him down, but that is a big gain and a new set of downs. It's a pickup of 39 yards. And it'll be first down, Arizona. Operating from the gun. Here's Murray. He's got it at the 6. And they'll advance this down to the 5-yard line. They'll have first and goal to go now after they gained 18 on the previous play.
You know, Kate, you'll find teams go to this crossing route concept sometimes a dozen times a game. A lot of times it's for shorter yardage, but sometimes things break in the right cup.
And he runs it across. Touchdown! The Cardinals grow the lead coming out of halftime. Trey Benson, the touchdown. They'll try this extra point. Extra point sent right down the middle. And the Cardinals push their lead to 18.
Falcons 6.
The Cardinals kicking team out, and they'll put a charge into this one. And he opts not to bring this one out, so they're going to enjoy some good starting field position from the 30. drive starts out with a 1st and 10.
70 Timberwolves. 19 Lions. Set. Ready.
Trying to throw here out of the gun. Got a man. Robinson has it. Get some space around midfield. Still fighting forward. It's a huge pickup on the play. And the Falcons will have a first.
You know, Kate, we often talk about flipping the field in special teams, right? A kick return, a good punt. Well, an explosive play like that does the exact same thing. Look at the difference in field position. By hitting on that shot, you've totally flipped the field and the tone of this drive.
Pass taken in by Burton. And he'll be taken down at the last possible moment. He's at the 1. They'll break the huddle and come up on 1st and goal. Off the play fake, he's going to throw. Flushed out of the pocket. And there's a man there. It's intercepted. Max Melton with the INT. And the Cardinals have it as he records the first interception of his young career.
You know what this is, Kate? This is the practice field coming to life. Really on both sides of the ball. Right, you watch defensive coaches preach all the time, and they work on these returns to get to the near sideline, everybody to get a block. And then for those offensive players to show the effort to go chase that down so it's not a pick six, yeah, it stinks for the offense. But that was the practice field coming to life.
Has a hole left, room to run. It's an Arizona touchdown. The Cardinals pick it off and get points on the ensuing drive. Trey Benson, the touchdown. Wow, just sensational speed from the back that time, Brock. He found a seam, got through it, and he was gone.
You know, it's one thing, Kate, to have singles hitters, right? And you love those, and you appreciate guys that can get on base. But it's the home run hitters that are the difference makers, and what a big-time effort.
That one splits the uprights. And the Cardinals continue piling on to this lead. The Cardinals kicking team out, and they'll put a charge into this one. And that one bounces through the end zone for a touchback. First and 10 now from the 30.
Go.
Here's Robinson up the middle. And he's charged towards the line. That's right around 3 yards.
You know, they got some positive yards. That's a good thing. But too many plays like that, it just is too hard to pile together, get first downs. It gets the better defenses in this league.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here's 2nd and 7. And he just got it away before the hit, but the pass winds up incomplete. It's going to be 3rd down.
Well, both ends of their defense nearly came away with a huge play. Another step, and they sacked the quarterback. But even still, the hit altered the throw and almost set up a takeaway.
18 Cardinal. 18 Cardinal.
They're going to throw it on 3rd and long. Hits his running back. And they'll take him down at the 43-yard line. It's a pickup of 9 yards. And it's good for an Atlanta first down.
Hey, smash Bronco.
First and 10 at the 43-yard line.
Buffalo 18. Panther 11. Panther 11. 18 Rattler. 18 Rattler. Ready.
Back now, pressure on its way. Trying for the deep ball. Brought in inside the 20. And he's into the end zone for an Atlanta touchdown. The Falcons shrinking the lead some in the 3rd. And this one thankfully not off the mark. He gets it to go. Out to kick it away. Here's Pinion. And no return as this bounces through the end zone for a touchback.
At their own 30-yard line.
First and 10 now from the 30. The give now to Benson. And he found some running room for a nice gain. It's a solid 7-yard pickup on first down. Now they're going to have 2nd and 3.
That does not show up on any explosive stat sheet, but let me tell you, Kate, that's the real deal right there. You run for that kind of yardage consistently in the NFL, you do set yourself up for success.
From the 37. Wilson on the slant. And he's touched down after a nice pickup there to get the first.
A gain of 14. First down, Arizona.
Now they'll throw out of the gun. Got to him right as he threw it, and it falls to the ground. Trying to find Trey McBride. So 2nd down coming up.
And this is why scouts talk about a player's closing speed, Kate. You know, once he senses the pressure, he's getting rid of that ball. It takes a player who can close quickly to get to him before it's released. And that sure altered the throw.
2nd and 10 now. That one is incomplete. Couldn't hang on through the contact.
You know, that was almost a nice chunk play before he was able to recover and provide the hit that dislodges the football. You like to see that physical edge and scrappiness to contest any kind of shot plays deep.
No connection on the last play, and now it's 3rd down. They motion a receiver left. Murray on 3rd down. This is reeled in by Wilson. And this one's worked down to the 33 before being stopped. So we hit the end of the 3rd quarter. It's not quite over yet, but it'd take a pretty miraculous comeback. We've got a 3-score game as we get set to start the 4th quarter. Ball at the 33 for first down. Here's a quick pass, caught outright. And he's tackled after gaining a handful.
That's a pretty similar result to a first down run play. Moves it forward, keeps you on schedule, and makes 2nd and 3rd down a whole lot easier to manage.
Halfway to the marker, it's 2nd and 5. They bring a tight end in motion right. Here's 2nd and 5. Forced out to his right. Taken in by Tip Ryman. They rip off a big chunk of field, and it sets them up with 1st and goal.
I'm sure coach and play caller doesn't mind making the job a little bit easier. You know, play calling's a lot simpler and easier when you count on the offense to move the chains on those early downs.
Working inside the red zone. And that one's incomplete, but boy, are they lucky it wasn't intercepted. That was a risky shot, but fortunately, they still have 2nd down coming up.
Well, that's not the uniform you want to see almost bringing it in. They are so fortunate to have another shot down here after the near pick.
So after the incomplete pass, here's 2nd and goal. And that one's incomplete. He got muscled off the ball there. That's going to bring up 3rd down. Part of what's earned him status, Brock, is one of the league's better tight ends. Are those hands, right? His dependable hands. So shouts to the defense there because he wasn't able to hang on that time.
Kate, it's one thing for these defenders to separate a receiver from the ball, but to do so on a stud tight end, that's big time.
Nothing on that play, and now it's 4th and goal from the 2.
You know, I'm not sure what else could have been done there, Kate. Just the right call defensively to come up with a 3rd and short stop.
On 4th down, here's Murray. And it falls incomplete. So the defense rises to the challenge and gives the ball back to their offense.
You know, Kate, I don't think I've ever met a defender that cares. All they want to do is get off the field. Doesn't matter if it's a drop pass, deflection, breakup, even an interception. Challenged by the offense to get one more stop to get off the field, and that's exactly what they did.
Give them a few yards on that run. It's 2nd and 7.
Let's go now. Go.
Off the play fake, he'll throw. And the pressure gets home. He doesn't throw it in time. That's a safety. Some early down aggressiveness in the shadow of their own end zone there, Brock. And unfortunately, it costs them. They're going to have to punt it away following the safety.
Well, you know me. I don't ever mind aggressiveness. I think it empowers your quarterback, empowers that offensive huddle. But you also got to know, as a quarterback, if you call a pass play, you got to do your job. And doing your job means avoiding a safety in that circumstance.
Here's a give to Benson. And he's going to run this down to the 36-yard line. Pickup of 8 on the run, and that sets up 2nd and 2.
I'm not kidding you, Kate. A run of that length at the NFL level, honestly, is the equivalent of a run of 15-plus at the high school level. It's hard in the run game to make yards, and they just got a very successful one.
Throwing deep for the end zone. He had it for a moment, but a great defensive play to jar it loose. Incomplete.
That play is so impressive on so many levels, not just because it saves a touchdown, Kate. He had to time that perfectly to knock it free without drawing a flag or let him establish possession for the score. That is so good.
Come back. Big Ace open.
Looking to throw on 3rd and 2. That's caught for the first. And he's down inside the red zone before hitting the deck. 16 yards on the play. And that's a Cardinals first down. Out of the gun, here's Murray. He brings it in. And he's going to be taken down near the 8-yard line. A nice pickup of 11 there, Brock, and they'll have 1st and goal to figure out. That's complete to Wilson. That's the 2-minute warning here from Atlanta. Cardinals nearing their 2nd win in the campaign. They're lining up on the doorstep. 2nd and goal from inside the 1. Wow, they're going to pass it here. And this is caught. Touchdown, Arizona. The Cardinals put up even more points in a win. Kicking unit comes out for the extra point. Right down the middle, it's good. And the Cardinals grow their lead yet again.
Falcons 13.
The Cardinals kicking team out, and they'll put a charge into this one. And the kickoff is into and then out of the end zone. Touchback. This drive starting from the 30.
At their own 30-yard line.
They're out and set. 1st and 10.
79 Broncos. Here we go. Shot. Trap 60. Go, Rig. Go. Check go.
Airing it out to start this drive. Made the throw as he was getting hit, Brock, and it's incomplete. Not on the same page with his tight end. And it sets up 2nd down.
You know, when we were growing up in the backyard, we call them alligators. 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator. He needed another alligator in order to get that ball off. Credit the defense for forcing the incompletion.
60 Maverick.
Running back sent in motion. Another throw coming on 2nd and 10. Fits it through the middle. The 30. Gets the 10. And he does quite a bit of damage before they finally take him down.
Just about every offense since the beginning of time, since the forward pass, Kate, has loved a tight end that can stretch the middle of the field. Man, I remember as a kid watching Kellen Winslow Sr. dice up right here between the hash.
And he's going to make it in for an Atlanta touchdown. The Falcons making the scoreboard look a touch better. It's a Bijan Robinson touchdown. Now, this one has been a long game, no doubt. But, hey, something positive to look back on there.
But they didn't quit, Kate, and I know that sounds a little cliche at this professional level, but it really is an important thing. This one will still hurt, but they showed some execution and fire.
And he shaped that one to the right. It is no good. Out to kick it away. Here's Pinion. And it bounces out of the end zone, so they'll set up shop at the 30. And the drive will start out with a 1st and 10. Oh, look at this. He's setting up to throw. Looking slant route, complete. And he's out of bounds, up at his own 45. That play gains 15, and it moves the sticks.
Boy, they sure found the right route at the right time to hit the soft spot in that coverage. And that slant, it goes for big yardage.
Ryman there to haul it in. And this one does not go far.
Quarterbacks will look for their tight end short in just about any situation. They take away the deeper options. Well, there's their consistent source of positive yardage, the trusty tight end.
Here we go, 2nd and 9. An all-around tough play for him. He took a shot on the release, and it definitely affected the throw. It's incomplete. Last pass unsuccessful, and they have 3rd down here. Back to the air, Murray. He's got Harrison. They'll move the chains after that pickup of 12.
You know, they call that the money down for a reason, because you're just simply not going to last long in the NFL if you don't convert a good portion of your 3rd downs. It's the money down. And nice to see them roll the dice and continue the series.
And the 1st down pass set away by a defender, incomplete.
I know a DB in the stat sheet loves to see INT and not PBU, but as soon as he realized a pick wasn't possible, he does the next best thing and knocks it away.
Murray thrown again on 2nd and 10. Wilson's got it. And they catch up to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a 1st down. It's a gain of 27 yards to move the chains. They'll come up 1st and 10. So the Cardinals get to fly home as winners on the road. And even fighting that dreaded body clock with a West Coast trip, they played their game, and they're taking this victory back east with them.
Hey, let's get 7 this time. Let's not, baby.
So for Brock Heward and all of our crew, I'm Kate Scott, wrapping up another edition of the NFL on EA Sports. It's a win for the Cardinals as we say goodbye from Atlanta.